I sent my book back. It was straight Dr. Seuss, bro.
Finally,
Yes.
finally, here we go.
I was gonna I was gonna make a special trip
Wow,
to Atlanta
wow.
to do this interview.
Okay.
Really?
That means a lot to us, man.
Really?
No
Wow.
lie, no lie.
Yeah, I saw Thi'sl up at Legacy, man. He was like, I owe you one, man. I got you. I was like, okay, it's so cool, man.
We have history. It's funny because I remember when y'all were doing the, I don't know if y'all still do the comparison.
Yeah.
And at first I hated that.
Yeah.
You told us.
Yeah, I hated it. I'm like, yo, because in my head though, I thought like dudes would see that and be like, they trying to be like, you know what I'm saying? But it was crazy when I saw the opposite happen in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Like my cousins, they hood dudes. You know what I'm saying? So they hit me up like they follow. They find their way to everything that I do and then lead them back to other stuff. Wow. So they were online looking for stuff. And they was like, yo, hey, I saw you online. It was a group of people sitting in the room. And they was like, he like, yo, they were doing like this Thi'sl versus Rick Ross thing or this. And they was like a couple of us going in on it. And they was like, but they was the rest of them showing you love. They like it was a dude, a girl.
One of them was my dad.
Yeah. He said it was an old dude. He said it was an older dude.
Old Jamaican dude in the back. I don't like neither one of these.
Yeah, he said older dude wasn't really feeling it. So I was cool with that. I said, this is an OG, he cool. You know, so yeah, but it was crazy when my cousins ran across it, and then it was like, yo, I went and watched the Lecrae verse.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, like this actually, you know, it worked, you know. So and then when y'all even told me you had people,
Yeah.
you know,
And I think, well, this I understand, man. Like when we first started doing it, we know that Christian hip hop had a bad reputation of we had the so and so version of so and so. You know what I mean? And I think we've gotten past that. And the thing is, when Jeremiah and I first did this segment, it was like over 7 years ago. It was just like it was a way to be like. There's so many people that they just hear, oh, this is Christian hip hop or Christian people doing hip hop, and they're like, oh, it's whack.
Yeah.
How do you know it's whack? You ain't even heard it. And what it does is it forces them to be like, yo, this was good. I mean, I voted for him like 3 times in this life. He can't be whack. You know what I mean? It forces you to listen, man. So hopefully people get that.
Yeah, I had a few people like from my hood come to me. Wow. And be like dudes that don't follow Christian music, period. Come to me like, yo, I saw you on the internet on this thing. Like, it's you versus Rick Ross. And I'm like, okay. It's working. It's working, man. Wow. Yeah.
So, man, of course, the real reason we wanted to get you on last time was because this was in the thick of the whole Ferguson thing, man. And I keep saying on the show every time I bring it up, man, I'm proud of you, dude. Like, I'm sitting there watching CNN or something, and I'm like, there go Thi'sl, like right in the middle of the thing. You know what I'm saying? There you go. That's what we supposed to be doing.
It's so funny, like when it first started, it was all accidental stuff though.
Yeah.
So when it first started, like I'll be, you know, I was out of the hood one day and like this Black Panther dude from Washington D.C. don't even live there, so he out trying to egg people on. They shoot at us, shoot back, and I'm like, what? Yeah. So we done took the bullhorn, you know what I'm saying, from them, because I kept telling people I had this class at Legacy, and I was like, yo, I said I'm gonna be on 100. I said when I'm in Ferguson. I said, the dudes I'm with ain't Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but my cousins, they coming out there with me because they like, yo, they feel like we not going to let nothing happen to you. Like, I'm their hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you going to Ferguson, we going with you because we going to make sure you good.
You going to be
know
all
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
So, dude was wilding, and another group of dudes was with me, like some hip hop cats, like local hip hop cats, and we get the bullhorn from him. This random And I'm like, yo, I'm doing this thing. Somebody film it and put it on Vine.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I'm on CNN, like with a bullhorn. Like,
Yeah.
we gonna do this the right way. It was like I came out there earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Where you get a bullhorn from?
So from that point, it kind of, man, it was one of them things I can't front. I was so, that stuff, it consumed your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The people that do that stuff, that's their life.
Yeah.
And so after like 3 days, bro, I'm talking, after it was going on for 3 days, it was, you up. I'm getting up early in the morning. I'm out there all day long, up to 1, 2 in the morning. Then the next day, we right back up. You out there all day. And it was just like, yo. And I was like, all right, I can't do this. I'm a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I got to go write songs. I got this concert series coming up. I got my family. I'm like, I got people that follow me that's going to think this is not cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't do this.
Yes.
And I tried to pull back after like 3 days. And it was like, this is all I want to do, though. Yeah. So I was like, everything else got to go on hold.
Wow.
And then it became intentional. We started putting on forums. We started doing different stuff to be involved in the city concert, you know, like concert, benefit concert. But it was crazy how God used all the stuff that I had been doing. Like 2 years ago, like probably 2-3 years ago, I sat back and said, man, I do a lot of stuff worldwide and locally, but I'm going on the road so much, and the internet changed how you gotta get on.
Yeah.
So I ain't have to take the traditional route of doing 150, 200-300 shows in St. Louis,
Right.
and then I get on the internet. Like I went to the internet first, so it's like I'm on the internet and I'm killing in my own space, but it's people in St. Louis that was like, huh, who Thi'sl? And so like 2-3 years ago, we was like, yo, we about to make people know what we doing. And we start spending time, money, everything, investing, billboards, commercials, CDs, just everything locally, just driving it in. And we were just thinking like we doing this for marketing of a record.
Yeah.
But when the Ferguson situation happened, after 2-3 years of that and building relationships with local hip-hop dudes and school teachers and police and all of these different people, it put me up. I was already in a position to where when it happened, they were like, yo, what's your You know?
Yeah, that's put you in a position to take the bullhorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy how we thought we were just doing that to set up records. But it actually had put me in a position where people were like, yo, we believe in you. We see you genuine about what you're doing. And it was people, it was scary, and it was like my pastor, I was talking to my pastor every day. And I'm like, yo, man, this kind of scary. I'm like, people, and I always knew that from music and life, but I'm like, yo, like people are actually hanging on to my words for real.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
They believe, you know what I'm saying, in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to see that, you know.
I heard you say this. It was awesome to hear. You said that as a Christian, you're allowed to love the Mike Browns of the world and the cops that shoot them. Yeah. And that's what's so special about the message, because people expect you. This is a black man. He's angry at what happened, so he's going to be yelling at the cops. And it's like, no, that's not your role in the situation.
And that's what I was trying to communicate the whole time. I understand, you know. Like, it's hard to police our community.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in the trap. Like, I sold dope my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So, I know the police, when they come to work, you leaving home, you coming in to work, you human. So, if you come in mad, and every day, like, I had homeboys, like, literally every day, police would come out, my homeboy, and they're the same police chasing the same dude every day. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Every day he come to the hood. He chasing my block, and he can never catch him. You know what I'm saying? This is their relationship. Like, he come to work.
I'm gonna get you today.
He's running, literally.
The road running the coyote.
Every day he chasing this dude. He get away. You know he got something. Like, or the police. You know this dude is a shooter. He's a killer. You know he's killing people, but you can't catch him. So it's like, it's hard to police our environments. So police are already frustrated. They're human. You might got marital problems, your wife, your kids. So you come to work with these issues already. But then I also know from being in the hood, you got good police and you got bad police.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been in the hood where, like, we were younger. Police used to take us when we do something they don't like. they'll throw us in the car. They don't got no case for us. They'll throw us in the car and drop us off in the hood of the dudes we beefing with. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally pull up like, hey, we got so-and-so in the back and make you get out the car.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Or they'll do dudes just like that to us. Pull up like, yo, we got so-and-so in the car. And put them out on the corner. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And leave.
That's crazy.
So, but I also had the police that they had police go and say, man, you need to get your life together.
Wow, that's awesome.
You need to do this. You know, so that's why I was telling people, like, for Christians, it's hard for us sometimes to balance and say, like, with the Mike Brown situation, it was like, oh, I can't even. Redemption, like this person was a sinner, like he's gonna suffer eternity, like there's no empathy for the parent. Those type of looking Christians, it's like, oh, them parents, they raised a thug. Like there's like you're saying it about a mother that just lost her child.
Yeah.
So if we're in the hood and we're a church plant, and you know the biggest drug dealer in the hood, he's selling drugs to everybody, he's killing people, everything, and he get killed, and this is in a hood that you got a church in. What are you going to do to his mother? Or you going to go outside and be like, they raised the thug. He got killed. Or you going to send people from the church the same way you would if it was a person in an accident that has died, or as a person died from. And accept the fact, I told people we still live in a country where we teach our kids that Christopher Columbus founded America. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When November comes, we going to be like, happy Thanksgiving. We going to put turkeys on the table. You know what I'm saying? Columbus Day just passed. Yeah. Like, we get off work and we celebrate Christopher Columbus discovering America, but we all know what happened. Mm-hmm. Like, Europeans, the Puritans, dudes with Bibles, they came to America, they found the Native Americans. We still won't even admit that we don't even call them the right name. We still call them Indians. Mm-hmm. They came, they found Native Americans, they took their land, made them slaves. The rest of them hid, they fought, went to war, and Europeans and Puritans and English settlers took their land and brought African slaves to America. This is America. The country was founded on the blood of slaves. But if we're not even willing to accept that fact, we'll never be able to get past the issue, because you're telling me that my people shouldn't have an issue when they should have an issue. Yeah. My grandfather, this I'm telling, like Selma was 50 years ago. My grandfather picked cotton. My grandmother picked cotton. My mother picked cotton. My aunts, all of them picked cotton. Like, I was born on a plantation. My family didn't move off a plantation till the 80s. They were sharecroppers, Minnesota City, Mississippi. My last name, Tyler, is because a family owned my family and gave us that last name. So people tell us, like, oh, just get over it. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Your last name is because someone owns your family. Yours. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather is living with vivid memories of seeing people beat by white people.
And I got something to be angry about.
Yeah, so you want my grandfather, you just telling my grandfather, like, yo, get over it. If I take your kids away from you, if I pull you out of your house right now, anybody, black, white, or whatever, I pull you out of your house, take you to the middle of the street in front of everybody, beat you out of your clothes, embarrass you, take you from your wife and your kids after I beat you and make you naked. Take you from your wife and your kids, take you somewhere else, take your son, take him somewhere else, take your wife and your daughter, take them somewhere else, rape and God knows whatever else to them, and I keep them for 100 years and let them procreate inside of those environments that they live in, and then come back and tell me how they'll be. But you want people to just get over it, and that's not going to happen. The gospel is the means of people getting over it, but if the people that hold the power of the gospel not willing to be vessels of reconciliation, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, we're not even willing to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And then we don't even want to talk about the gospel, because you got the Muslims, the Black Panthers, the Hebrew Israelites. You got all of these people now coming to the hood after the Million Man March was today.
Yeah.
You got all these people coming to Ferguson now after Ferguson and telling the kids and telling the adults and telling the people in the community, Jesus, y'all going to the church?
Yeah.
Talking about white Jesus?
Yeah.
Enslaved slaves?
Yeah.
So now we got to have a whole other conversation.
Yeah, because I saw an interview with Farrakhan, and he said I stopped being a Christian because of I didn't understand why my white brothers and sisters didn't have no compassion for the same issues that was going on with me. So and now, like, what you're saying is so true. And like I was telling them before, I was like, because I'm up top, I'm from New Jersey, so that's seeing Muslims and all like that. But when I came down here, I didn't really see that, but I'm starting to see that more rapidly in Atlanta and stuff like that.
When Ferguson happened, man, opened the floodgate. Ferguson in Baltimore, all these other situations, it opened the floodgates for Afrocentric teaching because people were hurt and they didn't have nowhere to look to because the church didn't even show up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The church didn't show up. So who you gonna take your advice from? Hurt people go to where they see hope at. Like, if I look at Christianity as a means of enslaving me, like I said in a meeting with Farrakhan, he's went state to state, city to city, and he called all the influential people of every city where he went. It was 40, 50, 60, 80 of us, whatever, in a room, like private meeting, and he pushing his agenda. I sat in the room with him and heard him. And his message is, when he talking about Christianity, how are you going to be a Christian when they enslaved your grandmother, your grandfather? You know what I'm saying? But that's a real issue. We got predominant theologians like Doug Wilson, who just a couple years ago said Christians that interfered with slavery were in sin. They should have just let it take its course. And this is recent, you know? But we got this stuff. We don't want to deal with that stuff, man.
Man, when you sitting in that room, right, and I've been in a situation where, like, I hear somebody pushing a different agenda than the one I actually believe in. Did you get a chance to speak in that meeting?
No, they make it one way. One-sided conversation. Let him. You come here, it's hard. It was to get people to push people towards the Million Man March.
How did you feel in that meeting, man?
I was ticked off. I was ticked off because I know the truth about the Bible. So I know Jesus wasn't white or isn't white. I know that the slave owners and people that brought slaves over here were in sin. They were sinning. It wasn't biblical. I know that Christianity was in Africa hundreds of years before the Europeans ever got their hands on it. Like, so I know all of this stuff. So you can't trick me into believing that Christianity is a white man religion and that it was God's will that we be slaves. I also know that the same Quran that they teach in the Hadith said that Muhammad was a white Arabic man, and he had a black slave. So I know this. You can't trick me with your trickery. You know what I'm saying?
And my dude's slick, though.
You can't trick me
Farrakhan's slick, man. And he can move a room.
He goes to people that don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. I posted it on my Facebook today. I said, man, don't think everything people telling you is right because it sound deep. You know what I'm saying? It sound deep. That sound deep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can go outside and be like, man, look, the trees, they green. But if you really cut the trees, at the essence, they white on the inside. So what the trees
That's
white
that
and green.
pseudo weed knowledge, man.
And them the people that
Barbershop weed.
Yeah, barbershop.
them the people he talking to, and he talking to the people that already have those issues.
Yeah.
People, like, as humans in general, white, black, brown, whatever you are, human beings since the beginning of the world, and we fell into sin, we've been searching for our identity and our creator. We've been looking for a purpose and a meaning in life ever since that time.
Yeah.
So when you go and you talk to the game, or he talking to Young Thug, and he's talking his truth wrapped in a lie, these are human beings that are searching for themselves.
Yes.
They're looking for something to believe in. That's why we join gangs. We don't go join gangs because we want to die and get killed. We go join gangs because it gives us an identity.
Yes.
We find a life, an identity. We find a hope in that. We find an understanding. And even though it's a crooked one, that's why we go. So he's going, and he knows these young men. He knows have life where they didn't grow up without a father. Every young man is biblical. Your father's supposed to be the one to give you the rites of passage. He's the one to tap you on your shoulder, son, good job. You doing good, I'm proud of you. Yeah. And when you don't do that, and you have somebody come around that you have a certain reverence for, like a Farrakhan or any other male, and he walk up to you and he say, man, I'm proud of what you're doing. Yeah. And he give you a hug, whether you want to or not, something inside of you clicks and says, oh, this is what I've been missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you're like, oh, man.
Yep.
I done seen it. I done been in prisons and hugged grown men. Like, bro, it's going to be all right, and they break down.
Yeah.
Because they need that. And he know they need that. So he's preaching that to people that need hope. And the church not ready. We're not ready for what he's doing. We don't even have a plan. He's building an army, and he's going and talking to people that have influence.
Sometimes in churches, I've seen.
Yeah.
With pastors.
In churches.
But that's because they're hurt too.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people.
They're hurt. They're black. They're hurt. They understand. They looking at these rosters of these conferences, and they looking like, well, I don't never get invited. You don't think some of these pastors looking like, well, I don't get invited to the conference. Everybody on the conference white. Why they don't invite me out? Why they don't ever come to our church? Why we plant a church in the hood and we don't got money and we don't got resources, and you got a building in the same neighborhood? I don't even got a sound system, and you got 5 of them in the back room that you don't even use.
Wow.
And won't let me borrow one.
You won't even come get me there. You won't even talk to me. You don't even know I'm here. But then you'll come to my same neighborhood and say, there's no church here. We need to plant a church. And I've been here for 25 years, breaking my back, loving people, working hard, 24 hours, loving on people, doing funerals, marrying people, counseling, kids dying, drug addicts. And then you move in the neighborhood and say, there's no church there. We need to plant a church with a $200,000-$300,000, and I can't afford to pay a secretary.
Wow.
We ain't ready. We ain't ready for the real conversation. But I'm just a rapper. What do I do?
Dude,
I'm just a rapper. I don't know nothing.
You were made for this, man.
Yes.
I don't know if this is what you had planned this year, last couple of years, but you were made for this, man.
The Lord, man, I say this. When I see people hurt, I want to help people. That's my heart. If I walk outside right now and somebody's hurt, I want to help them. When you see people hurt, you want to help them. When I fell in love with Jesus, one of the first things that I saw in the beginning of my Christianity, I looked and I said, and I told Flame, and this Flame's been a mentor, a friend, like since the beginning of my walk. One of the first things I told Flame, I said, man, why don't churches get along? I said, man, there's 4 churches in our neighborhood.
Yep.
None of them don't talk. And I went home and wrote a letter to all of them. I got the addresses off of the buildings, and I wrote a letter to every pastor in the neighborhood, and I asked them, like, why don't y'all get along and help each other out? And they ain't respond. But I wrote it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's a start.
But that was my first thing, and now when I see this stuff happening, man, the church, like, I believe Jesus, as we all do as Christians, but I believe Jesus, like, 2 things are happening in the world. What's happening is made for reasons. One is either to advance the gospel, or it's either stop the advancement of the gospel. And people see this stuff happening with Ferguson and Baltimore and race and all these different things, and they say, oh, that's going to divide us. Don't talk about it. It's bringing division. We don't need help being divided. We already divided.
Yeah.
Yep.
You go to our conferences, you go to our concerts, you go to our Sunday morning church service, you go to anything that we have as Christians, we're already divided.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need help with that. That's already done. We do that. Enough, right? What this stuff is intended to do, Satan is trying to stop the advancement of the gospel to urban and minority people. Do you know how hard it is to minister the gospel to a Native American? Like, I have a Native American person that I sat down and chopped it up with, and she was like, they don't want to hear about this on the reservation. Because they're on reservations, it's fresh in their brain still. They know why they're on the reservation. It's like, yo, we're on this reservation and on this land that we've been trying to develop for years. Y'all won't let us develop it. We're out here with no resources. We're depressed. People are dying. Drugs, all this stuff going on. We're here because people came from another country and took our land and put me here.
Wow.
They don't want to hear the gospel.
Yeah.
That's how they got in that situation. Mexican Americans, like, that's how they got to where they are. Like, you go to these different countries, like, you look around, like, the boat dropped people off everywhere.
Yeah.
And now it's like people don't want to hear the gospel because it's connected to their pain.
Yeah.
And we got to undo that. That's why I ain't afraid to tell people, no, Jesus not white. That's not true. He ain't black neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think Jesus ain't from the hood with cornrows. You know what I'm saying? Jesus ain't black, he ain't white. He was Jewish. That's what the Bible say, but he was dark Jewish. He was born in a place where he could hide in Egypt as a child, and people didn't know he was from. Jesus not white with blue eyes and blonde hair. That's a picture that Michelangelo painted that is supposed to be depicted of his brother or cousin. And if we look at the scriptures say, make no image of that which is in heaven or that is which underneath. But we got those pictures up in our church. That's why I say we going to talk about the lie and deal with the lies, but we going to tell our kids when they ask us who founded America.
Wow.
And why they founded America. But if I tell you that, I got to say your granddaddy was wrong. Great-granddaddy was wrong. Everybody wrong. But that's how we get through. People were sinners. They were sinning. They did the wrong thing. Now let's go fix it. But that's what we're afraid of. But again, I'm just a rapper. What do I know? Jesus is the way. He fixed it all.
Wow. You at another level, man, and I feel like I don't know how many people you mentoring, but like most of the conversations that we have is about what's next artistry wise, and it's like I feel like you passed all that. Like the artistry stuff is just easy now. It's like what can you change? How can you change the world? Is where you at right now.
Music get me into places. That's always my motto. The dudes in my hood, the rap dudes in my city, the internet blogs. Music get me to places to be in front of people. I love music. I love doing it. I'm writing a book. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put a book out in December. I'm put more music out next year. But at the end of the day, like I 100%. When I remember seeing Tupac before he died, after he died, and I became a Christian, and I looked and I said, man, this dude do not understand how much influence he had.
He
you know what I'm saying? My partner straight goon, been in jail all his life. Like, he would go to jail right now for nothing. He'll do anything. And,
about that life?
I'm going to jail. Cool. He been in jail most of his life.
Wow.
Now, Tupac died. This dude cried like a baby.
Wow.
I'm talking about walking through the hood. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you? You ain't heard Tupac dead, bro. Oh, I'm like, dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tupac could have said, let's go to XYZ. And people would have been there. But that's what I'm saying. People don't. The church, we catch on so late, man. Like, what Farrakhan doing, I'm looking like, man, I wish it was a pastor doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll ride with that dude. Like, I wish it was a pastor that was taking a biblical approach, going to talk to people of influence, and saying, let's get out in the streets and change dudes' lives with some real gospel power, with some real truth, with some real resources. We got the money. We got the soldiers. We just don't got nobody with the vision.
Guess what?
Yeah,
That's
maybe
you.
That's you, brother.
That's you.
I'm just a rapper.
That's you, brother. Everybody else knows it's you.
I'm just a rapper. That's all they gonna tell me when I tell that to them pastors. They're gonna be like, "Go make your songs. You want to come rap?" But that's why I take it to the street. Now, I'm just a rapper. I don't know nothing.
You're not just a rapper. You're a general, man. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks for sitting with us, man. Finally getting this interview done, man. But we still want you back.
I'm
you
gonna
in
come to Atlanta. No, I'm coming down there.
Because this is like the interview format, but we want you to talk about like the topics that we talk about. We want your opinion.
Talk about some rap stuff, man. Jump in there, talk about some rap things. Be like, yo, yeah, man, I saw that. Yeah, Meek Mill got killed by Drake. You know what I'm saying? Drake killed him. Yeah.
All right, man. So let's get a drop from you. You got some?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, I really believe, man, that your life is supposed to be a movie.
I hope so.
I really believe that.
It
man.
might be rated R. They might not.
But and the funny thing is, like, I do a tweet every day, and we kind of send them out, and I tweeted about that. But I think people need to see that. Street dudes need to see your story.
Yeah. That's what the book I'm putting out in December is an autobiography.
Okay.
So I'm putting the book out. It's gonna be like. It's going to be just straight through. You know what I'm saying? Beginning, I'm going to talk about everything, being born on the plantation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to talk about it straight through. And then we did a study guide because we didn't want to just end it like, yo, I changed. But we did a study guide, like a practical thing, man, where we sit down, like where I talk about real subjects, like how I went from, owing, being a street dude and owing thousands of dollars in child support, coming out the streets and getting the plan, paying off all my debt, paying off all my child support. I always took care of my kids. You know how the baby mama thing goes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I hate you. I'm going to make you pay some money. Even though you take care of your son, paid off thousands of dollars, got out of debt, started a business. You know what I'm saying? So we go through that, talk about forgiveness, how I wrestled with forgiving the dude that killed my cousin, how God ultimately led me to that point. So, like, man, we doing some stuff to try to put something like that in place, and that's one of the reasons that I ain't deal with a major publisher, because I had like 4 or 5 people wanted to put it out, but everybody want to own the rights for a movie. So I was like, nah, we can't give no movie rights away because if we ever do a movie, I want to be able to have some input, and make it be real. I don't want it to be just crazy, but you know what I'm saying? I want to make it be real. The same thing with the book. Like, I thought about readers and age limits and, like, we got people reading through it to make sure it's appropriate, like, see what age we want to start giving it to people. But I want to make it be real. You know what I'm saying? When a dude pick it up in jail, like, true story, we hired an editor, right? So one of the editors we hired was like they do work with like big Christian book companies, right? Bro, they sent my book back. It was straight Dr. Seuss, bro. It was like, and then I grew up. And my neighbors, I was like, neighbors? The people in my hood, you mean? So we wanted to make it be readable, for the suburban person. But I wanted it to be real, so when the dudes in jail pick it up, they can read it and be like, yo, this is real. So we working on the book. Well, the book is done. It's edited. It'll be out in December. It's called Against All Odds. They got a study guide with it. We putting it out. And Lord willing, man, like we'll have a movie or something following up out of it, man, that we can put something together, man.
Very cool, man.
Hey, Sean, the Bible says that Jesus sent out 12 disciples, 2 by 2.
2 by 2? Yo, son, tell them what we do.
Man, it's the mission.